Dandadan, created by Yukinobu Tatsu, is an electrifying manga that fuses action, supernatural thrills, and laugh-out-loud moments. Following Miku and her classmate as they jump into a whirlwind of spirits and monsters, it captures the essence of chaotic adventures similar to series like Jujutsu Kaisen and Mob Psycho 100. With vibrant art and a delightful mix of horror and humor, this series keeps you on the edge of your seat. Recently adapted into an anime, Dandadan has made some fun tweaks, like swapping iconic references and turning Obama into Trump while retaining its wild charm. But one thing that they couldn't change at all, or even touch, was the fabulous Turbo Granny. This quirky character bursts onto the scene with her outrageous antics and jaw-dropping abilities, injecting wild energy into the story. Get ready to embrace the madness and explore the zany world of Turbo Granny. She's a whirlwind of fun you won't want to miss. Before we get into our explanation though, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. The origin of Turbo Granny. From urban legend to yokai lore. A unique and unforgettable yokai, Turbo Granny made her first appearance when she came across Okarun in the spooky tunnel. Okarun, driven by a bet to investigate the existence of ghosts and aliens, found himself face to face with this fearsome figure, and what a first encounter it was. Picture this, a very elderly woman with reddish-brown wrinkled skin, saggy white hair, and wide, unsettling eyes fixed to the sides. Not exactly your average grandma, but that's the least of it when you add the fact that she wanted to have his, family jewels. Turbo Granny isn't just an ordinary spirit, she's a force of nature, embodying a cruel and sadistic persona. Her bark is just as fierce as her bite, literally. When she possesses her targets, they morph into grotesque versions of herself, complete with a mouthful of sharp teeth capable of severing body parts. And let's not forget about her vulgarity. She once offered Okarun a rather shocking proposition that involved suckling his family jewels. Talk about a shocking introduction. Her immense speed, a source of pride for her, makes her a formidable opponent, and she's not above using trickery to secure her victims. During a game of tag with Okarun and Momo, she famously counted irregularly, leading to their eventual capture. Despite her sadistic tendencies, there's more to Turbo Granny than meets the eye. Seiko reveals that beneath her brash exterior, she often comforts the spirits of girls who meet tragic fates. This compassionate side hints at a more complex character, showing that even the most fearsome yokai can have a softer heart. Turbo Granny's origins trace back to her days as the 100km/h Granny, where she roamed Japan, terrorizing the living. Key story arcs of Turbo Granny's saga. Before we jump into the very first arc, where we come across Granny's saga in this crazy world that's heaven for X-Files fans, we have to introduce two individuals. Our story kicks off with Momo, a vibrant and spirited girl who's just had her heart stomped on by her boyfriend. Can you believe he asked her for money in exchange for a date? Talk about nerve. Heartbroken but determined, she leans on her friends for support. When they ask what she liked about her ex, she hilariously admits that he looked like Ken Takakura, the iconic actor she adores. If you don't know the name of Ken Takakura, the actor, then don't worry, because soon you'll have that name on the tip of your tongue. Just when Momo thinks her day can't get any weirder, she stumbles upon a male student being bullied. Channeling her inner superhero, she bravely steps in, glaring at the bullies until they scurry away in confusion. Momo feels empowered, thinking she's saved the day for this kid, but little does she know, she's about to dive headfirst into a whirlwind of supernatural shenanigans. And we mean it. This is where the absolute chaos begins. Yes, it's the most random thing ever. The grateful male student is Okarun, whose real name is actually Ken Takakura. No connection to the actor, but yeah, talk about timing. Eager to chat, Okarun launches into an enthusiastic monologue about UFOs. Momo, however, isn't in the mood for his alien talk. She's much more into the ghostly realm, thanks to her grandmother's psychic powers. This leads to a playful argument as they both defend their beliefs. Who knew discussing aliens and ghosts could be so entertaining? As night falls, their banter turns into a thrilling adventure. Momo investigates supposed hauntings at Nagi Hospital, while Okarun checks out a tunnel rumored to be a UFO hotspot. Their phone conversations are filled with personal stories. Momo shares how she was bullied for having a psychic grandmother, while Okarun passionately defends his fascination with aliens. The tension builds, and it's all leading to something wild. Suddenly, chaos strikes. Okarun encounters our Turbo Granny, the wicked spirit with a flair for chaos, mischief, and weenies. Momo, sensing danger from miles away, prepares to rush to his aid, but before she can act, she's ambushed by a group of aliens called the Serpo, who have some bizarre plans plans for her. They want to extract her reproductive organs. Whoa, talk about a chance encounter where both of our protagonists are going to have their reproductive organs extracted by beings that they didn't believe in 5 minutes ago. Just as things are looking grim, Momo's phone rings, causing the aliens to pause. In a shocking turn of events, Okarun emerges possessed by Turbo Granny, and the curse that she has on him makes him run around and nab the robotic weenies of all these extraterrestrial beings. Soon, however, he's overpowered by them as the effects of the curse and their powers on him get weaker. Just when it seems all hope is lost, Momo taps into her burgeoning psychic powers, breaking Turbo Granny's hold over Okarun. However, the sinister spirit still has a grab on his body, proclaiming that she'll retain control as long as she possesses his genitals. As Turbo Granny lurks ominously, Momo trains vigorously, preparing herself for the inevitable confrontation. She knows that Turbo Granny has threatened to kill everyone who has seen Okarun, including her own grandmother. Faced with this dire ultimatum, Momo gathers her courage and decides to confront Turbo Granny in the tunnel. Upon entering, they find themselves cornered by the malevolent spirit, but Momo cleverly challenges Turbo Granny to a game of tag, which temporarily halts her attack. Turbo Granny, amused by the challenge, agrees to count to 10, giving Momo and Okarun a head start. However, in a crafty twist, Turbo Granny exploits the rules, counting in her own unique way to trap Momo. With her spirit powers awakened, Momo must now strategize against the crafty Turbo Granny, who can transform into her true form. Okarun, in a moment of desperation, takes a bite out of Turbo Granny, provoking her wrath. The tension escalates as she regains control over Okarun's body, preparing to consume Momo. But Momo, fueled by her determination, traps Turbo Granny within Okarun using her psychic powers, much to the yokai's dismay. Even in captivity, Turbo Granny tries to manipulate the earthbound spirit within the tunnel to aid her escape, further complicating the situation. As the battle intensifies, Turbo Granny summons the spirits of the deceased to command the citizens of Shono City, effectively blocking Momo and Okarun's escape route. With no options left, Momo decides to use Turbo Granny's own speed against her. Okarun transforms into his Turbo Granny form, dashing through the crowd, but this takes a toll on him. In a moment of oversight, Momo loses her psychic grip, allowing Turbo Granny to escape and merge with the bound crab spirit, setting the stage for a final showdown. Determined and clever, Momo devises a plan to escape by using her psychic powers to latch onto a moving train. As Turbo Granny gives chase, taunting Momo about her impending doom, the clever girl reveals that she's been leading the spirit into a trap set up by her grandmother. As the train approaches the designated stop, Momo uses her powers to restrain Turbo Granny, who struggles futilely against the barrier. Just when it seems like victory is within reach, Turbo Granny manages a last-minute escape by transferring her essence back into Okarun's body, swearing vengeance as she recuperates her strength. With Turbo Granny temporarily thwarted, Momo and Okarun breathe a sigh of relief, but they know this isn't the end. The defeat of Turbo Granny might have sent her retreating for now, but her ominous promise of revenge hangs heavy in the air. If you think this arc was messed up, wait till you see what follows as 2 days later, our beloved Turbo Granny is driven out of Okarun's body and put into a cat doll after the discovery of the weenie issue regarding Okarun. She tries to escape but is quickly caught by Momo, who demands answers. It's revealed that Turbo Granny is in possession of Okarun's Kintama and her powers are still lingering in him. Talk about a sticky situation. Feeling cornered, Turbo Granny lashes out, threatening to harm Momo and her loved ones when she regains her strength. This sassy yokai isn't just a one-trick pony, she demands that they follow her orders because, well, she holds all the cards, specifically Okarun's Kintama. But just when things seem bleak, Momo has a brainwave. She proposes a compromise. If Turbo Granny helps them find the missing Kintama, she'll get her powers back. It's a deal, but Turbo Granny plays coy, claiming she lost it during their previous skirmish. By now, Turbo Granny is kinda like Pigeon from Mike Tyson Mysteries. If you haven't seen Mike Tyson Mysteries, then you should probably get to it. The late great Norm Macdonald didn't do a vulgar adult animated series for no one to even check it out. Anyways, as Momo and Okarun embark on their nighttime search, the spirit doll keeps a lazy watch. She slyly hints that if they don't find that golden ball, an evil spirit could take it, potentially resurrecting the spirit. No pressure, right? But alas, their search comes up empty, and Turbo Granny is forced to crash at Momo and Seiko's house. Can you say awkward sleepover? Things take a hilarious twist the next day when Turbo Granny, feeling bold, decides to sneak into Okarun's school bag. As fate would have it, she witnesses him accidentally unleashing her powers. Oh, the drama. Turbo Granny can't resist revealing herself, especially after realizing the potential chaos that could ensue if a human were to possess the golden ball. Meanwhile, Momo is approached by Aira Shiratori, and Turbo Granny senses something's off. She warns Okarun about the presence of a strange lady, a yokai named Acrobatic Silky, who has been lurking around and is after Aira. It's a race against time as the plot thickens. Soon, chaos erupts as Acrobatic Silky captures Aira and panic sets in. Turbo Granny's bravado takes a hit. She tells Momo that she's powerless to help since her abilities were stripped away. But just when things seem dire, Momo cleverly uses Aira's rosary lighter to set Acrobatic Silky ablaze, resulting in a wild and fiery showdown that sees the kids swallowed whole. After a nail-biting rescue, Momo and Okarun manage to defeat Acrobatic Silky, but Turbo Granny drops a bombshell. Aira is actually dead because of her run-in with the yokai. As the kids scramble to revive her, Turbo Granny can't help but find their efforts amusingly futile, yet she reluctantly offers to call for help. But wait, there is a glimmer of hope. Acrobatic Silky proposes to transfer her aura to Aira, giving her a fighting chance at life. Turbo Granny, ever the pragmatist, confirms that this could work. As the spirit begins to crumble, Aira's heartfelt hug helps Acrobatic Silky achieve nirvana, turning a potential tragedy into a moment of beauty. With the crisis averted, Turbo Granny joins the gang for lunch, a clear indication that this is going to be the group we're going to be following for a while now. It's basically the Scooby-Doo gang over here now, and how does she celebrate? By playing a game of baseball, of course. She helps Okarun get one of his Kintama back in place. Ugh, that's some progress. It's not every day that you're fighting ghosts and aliens for the sake of your family jewels. Powers and abilities. Speed, shapeshifting, and spiritual tricks. Now, let's dive into the quirky and slightly chaotic powers of Turbo Granny. First off, can we take a moment to appreciate her fixation on weenies? I mean, is it a coincidence that her antics often revolve around reproductive organs? Talk about a weenie obsession. But I mean, hey, who doesn't love a good joke with a side of supernatural chaos? As a spirit, Turbo Granny possesses some seriously formidable abilities. She's able to materialize into a physical form or dematerialize into her ethereal state. When she's in her spiritual body, she's intangible and immune to all physical attacks, which makes her a nightmare for anyone trying to confront her directly. Plus, she can possess anyone she encounters, making her a true master of hijinks. Now, here's where things get even wilder. Turbo Granny has the unique ability to place curses on humans, leading to possession that can send her victims into a berserk rage, attacking anyone nearby. The catch? She can only curse someone if she catches them trying to run away from her in fear. Talk about a twisted game of tag. Once she possesses someone, she goes after their reproductive organs, which is quite an unconventional way to maintain her power. Honestly, if you're ever in a game with her, just remember, don't run. But wait, there's more. The curse is infectious, meaning anyone who's laid eyes on the possessed can suffer bodily harm. Think heart attacks, strokes, or even a random nosebleed. It's like a horror movie, but with more weenies involved. Or slightly more weenies involved. The only way to break free from her clutches is to either reclaim those precious organs or exorcise Turbo Granny from the unfortunate host. After being trapped inside a Maneki Neko doll, Turbo Granny supposedly gained a new trick up her sleeve. She can bestow luck. Yes, you heard that right. This luck grants protection from dire situations, but here's the kicker. She has no control over it. For instance, Momo once managed to escape from Acrobatic Silky's stomach thanks to a random lighter Aira had. Talk about lucky timing. And remember that time at the hot spring? Just when things were looking grim, the walls and statues decided to start tumbling down on Turbo Granny's would-be attackers? Coincidence? Perhaps, but Turbo Granny certainly has a flair for the dramatic. However, this luck isn't always beneficial. During a particularly tense moment, Turbo Granny found herself stabbed in the stomach by a shard of glass when Momo was trying to escape a mind control situation. It's clear that luck can swing both ways in Turbo Granny's world, and it doesn't just apply to friends, enemies can benefit as well. And let's not forget that memorable moment when she fused with the earthbound spirit crab to amp up her game of cat and mouse with Momo. This fusion allowed her to hunt Momo down, blending her chaotic powers with the might of the crab spirit. Future appearances. What could be next for Turbo Granny? As Dandadan continues to unfold, fans can look forward to exciting developments from Turbo Granny in the future. Her character promises to evolve in intriguing ways, especially as her complex relationship with Okarun deepens. While she has been a formidable force so far, her influence may take on new dimensions as Okarun learns to harness her powers without losing himself. Turbo Granny's abilities, which blend humor with danger, will likely play a crucial role in future arcs. Her knack for curses and possession means that the stakes will remain high, and Okarun's internal struggle could lead to unexpected consequences. Fans can anticipate scenarios where Turbo Granny's chaotic nature clashes with Okarun's attempts to maintain control, creating tension that adds depth to the narrative. Moreover, as Turbo Granny gains awareness of her situation, her motivations may shift. Will she remain a mischievous antagonist, or could there be moments of unexpected camaraderie with Okarun and Momo? This ambiguity will keep readers guessing about her true intentions and alliances, enhancing the story's complexity. One particularly interesting aspect to watch for is how Turbo Granny's abilities might evolve. After being trapped in the Maneki Neko doll, her newfound luck-bestowing powers could lead to unforeseen twists. It raises questions about whether she can control this luck, or if it will backfire in comical or perilous ways. As Okarun navigates his own powers, Turbo Granny's unique abilities will likely add layers to their interactions, with potential for both cooperation and conflict. Additionally, Turbo Granny's past could come into play, revealing more about her character and the lore behind her yokai status. Insights into her history might explain her motivations, making her a more rounded character rather than just a source of chaos. This could set the stage for moments of vulnerability that allow readers to connect with her on a deeper level. Lastly, the dynamic between Turbo Granny and the other yokai and spirits in the series will be worth watching. Her past encounters and alliances could lead to intriguing developments, especially if she finds herself at odds with other supernatural beings. The potential for alliances, betrayals, and epic confrontations will keep the tension high and the plot engaging. In summary, fans can expect Turbo Granny to remain a wild card in Dandadan as her powers, relationships, and motivations evolve. Whether she'll continue to be a source of chaos or surprise us with moments of depth and complexity, one thing's for sure: Turbo Granny's not done running yet, and her antics will keep readers on their toes. Marvelous verdict! As Dandadan races forward, the story continues to spiral into delightful chaos, with Turbo Granny leading the charge. Her unpredictable antics, combined with the ever-evolving dynamics between Okarun, Momo, and other quirky characters, promises a wild ride ahead. Expect more supernatural shenanigans, unexpected alliances, and fierce battles as Turbo Granny's influence grows. Each twist introduces new layers of complexity, from her comedic curses to the genuine threats she poses. Plus, with other eccentric yokai and spirits lurking in the shadows, the potential for mayhem is limitless. Fans are in for a treat as the series delves deeper into this wonderfully bizarre world where every chapter holds the promise of new craziness and unforgettable moments. Buckle up, Turbo Granny and her unpredictable pals are just getting started.